Welcome to the video. I want to thank all my subscribers here at MrPasceri.com for watching. We really appreciate all that you do for us. What we're going to do today is try to solve some compound inequalities. And they're not really too bad, actually. And let me see if I can get this out of your way. Okay, perfect. So that's what we're doing. So let's talk about this right here. You should have a note handout that says 2.6b on it. And you want to solve this inequality and graph the solution. So you'll see it's right here. What do you want to do if there's nothing outside of the inequality? Like on this first example, number 4. What do you want to do when there's nothing outside of it? Thoughts? Yes. Right, you're going to split it. I was heard that you split it. So we're going to split it into two inequalities. The first one you write exactly as is. You didn't do anything except for drop the brackets. The second inequality, well, you have to think about something. When I say grador, you say or. Grador? Grador? Perfect. So when I have a grador sign for this, I'm going to write or, and I'm going to rewrite my thing again, x plus 3. And now what am I going to do? Does anybody want to jump in on what I'm going to do? Okay, one of my subscribers has said that we have to turn 8 into a negative and flip the inequality symbol. So we have to take the 8 and flip it around and make it negative 8. So that's what we've got now. So we've got two inequalities to work on, and we can just focus on one at a time if we want. So why don't we just focus on this one for now? How are we going to solve this thing? I mean, it's pretty straightforward. Yes, Melanie? Yeah, you're going to subtract 3 on both sides is what I'm hearing. So if you subtract 3 on both sides, you're going to have x is greater than 5. You're done with that side. Now you can go over here and deal with this side, right? So let's just deal with this guy for a second. So I'm going to write down or, and I'm going to do the same thing, right? I'm just going to subtract 3 from both sides. I'm still going to have x is less than negative 11. So this is pretty much like what we're going for. We've pretty much done it. How do I get rid of this thing? Do you have any ideas? Struggle is real today, huh? Okay. Oh, there we go. Okay. Got rid of it. So this is what we want to graph. It does say graph the solution if possible, so why don't we look at this and see if we can graph it, right? How would we graph this thing? Well, what I would do is I'd grab a number line over here and make my own, and I would put negative 11 on it, and I'd put probably 0 on it, and I put 5 on it, so all those numbers are on there. And I know that I'm going to have open circles, because if I look at these symbols, they have no lines underneath them. This is going to be an open circle. So you can tell that those are going to be open circles because there's no line underneath the inequality symbol. So open here and open here. What do I want to do? Do I want to be going greater than 5, or do I want to be going less than 5? Think about that first. So we want to be going greater than 5 because it says straight up, x is greater than 5. So I'm going to go greater, which is this way. And then it also says x is less than negative 11, so I need to go less. And it looks like oars on a boat. Notice that or typically will look like oars on a boat. Oars will look like oars on a rowboat or a crew boat. If you've ever seen them rowing in the, what is it called, Lake Quincy, all the colleges in our area go there and they row and they compete for crew. So it looks like a rowboat. That's where we're at with number 4. So let's see how we can do with number 5. Perhaps you could try number 5. It's a little bit different. I want you to be aware of one thing that's kind of tricky about it, is that you need to get the inequality alone before you split it. So be aware that that's something that needs to happen. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to erase this, and I'm going to ask you to pause the video right now, pause it, and try number 5. Good luck. I want to make a comment to everybody that's trying this problem, though, before you get too deep into it. If you're trying number 5, this is actually another trick question. I keep doing this to you. I keep giving you the first question and making it a trick question. So if the struggle is real on 5, you can go to 6. That's okay. I think 6 will come out to not a trick question. It'll come out to a normal answer like in normal life. And let's talk about why it's a trick question. Just pause if you're still trying. But if you're ready for the answer, just hang in a couple more moments. So here's the deal. For those of you that are still not really knowing what's up here, I think all of us probably got to this point, right? We probably got here. But here's what I want to talk about. I want to talk about the absolute value of n plus 2. I want to ask you a question. Is the absolute value of n plus 2, is it possible for that to be negative? Is that possible? It's impossible, so that must be positive. I'm going to put a plus sign because this must be positive. And then I'm going to write down positive is greater than or equal to negative 3. Is any positive number greater than negative 3? So is there any situation where this is not going to work out? No, this is always going to work out. If it's always going to work out, always working out, not never working out, always working out. If it always works out, what do you think the answer is?
Negative 5 is less than or equal to n, and then n is less than or equal to 5.
Okay, so on this, the deal is this. You can go out and solve this thing and get some answers, but I think if you look at your solution, you'll find that it's infinitely many solutions because it's an or, right? So if you look at your 2 answers for this problem, right, I think you will get 2 answers. I think you'll get n is greater than or equal to, I guess, negative 5, and then maybe you get n is less than or equal to 1, or... yeah, is that right? Yeah. Is every number included in that in those 2 answers? Because this is an or, remember? So I think that every number will still be colored in when you do this answer. I think. Okay? So take a minute and think about that. I'm going to think about it myself. I'm going to pause myself. Okay, so I am making the statement that no matter what you do, every number is going to be either greater than like negative, if I said the number is greater than negative 5 or the number is less than 78, isn't every number one of those 2 numbers? Isn't every number doing one of those things, right? Right? I mean, if I said the answer is either greater than negative 5 or less than 70, well, every number is either one of those 2 things, right? So this is an infinitely many solutions. That's that's happening there. So let's try 6 out, see how we do with 6, and keep on going down the pike. So pause the video, try 6. I think you can do it. You just got to be remembered to get the absolute value alone first. So you're going to want to get rid of that 7 and get rid of that 3 before you split. Okay, take a moment. Not a trick question, promise. Good luck. All right, so hopefully you've paused and you've tried the problem. I'm going to now show the answer on the video, so I'm going to show you how to do it. So here's what you would do. You want to get rid of the 7 by adding 7 to both sides. You have greater than or equal to 6 then, because 7 minus 1 right here is going to be positive 6. You have 3 absolute value of d plus 1, but you've got to get rid of that 3 outside. Now, a common mistake here is to subtract 3 from both sides or just split right now or something. Those are 2 mistakes. The thing you really want to do is, because this 3 is being multiplied by this absolute value, you can't even distribute. That's another mistake. You have to divide by the 3. There's reasons you can't distribute. We were not going to have time to cover that in this video, but you can't distribute into an absolute value. So you're going to wind up with d plus 1 in the absolute value is greater than or equal to 2. And now we're at a point where we can do what? Think about that for a second. What can we do now? Split it, right? So we can split the inequality into 2. So let's think about what the 2 inequalities are. Maybe you could write them yourself. Real quick, just try to write them yourself, okay? And then in just a moment, just in a couple seconds, I will reveal what I think they are. So what I have is that I'm going to rewrite just as is, d plus 1 is greater than or equal to 2. I have a greater symbol, so I'm going to write or, and then I'm going to do d plus 1, and I'm going to flip my symbol around, and I'm going to make the 2 negative. Those are the 2 inequalities you should have. Those are the 2 inequalities we should solve right now. So if we add 1 to both sides, or subtract 1 for both sides in this guy, we'll have d is greater than or equal to 1, or d is, if we subtract 1 from both sides, d is less than or equal to negative 3. So this is what we're going to have for an answer right here. Now, what does that look like if we graph it? We have just enough time to do this. We have enough time to graph it. So if we grab a number line, and we draw the number line, and we have negative 3 on our number line, and we have negative 2, negative 1, we have 0, we have 1 on our number line, maybe we even have 2 on it. We know that these circles are going to be closed because of the line underneath the inequality thing right there. So let me just show you that real quick. Get this out of my way. We know that because of this, right, because of this, we're going to have closed circles. So I'm going to have a closed circle in both spots, right, a closed circle. So let's try that out. Close circle at -3. Close circle at 1. We know that it's greater than or equal to 1, so this is greater than 1. We know that it's less than or equal to -3, so this is less than or equal to -3. And it does look like oars in a boat, which is good, because our inequality was supposed to be an oar. So we're in pretty good shape. Let's see if we got time for one more. I think we have time for one more, and then we will wrap it up. So these are the things we need to have. Let's go on to the next page. Okay, so the dreaded word problem. Here we go. So you're buying a new computer. You go to the store. You want to get a new computer. At this time, maybe you would get a MacBook or a Dell or something, who knows. And the table shows the prices of the computers in the advertisement, and you're willing to pay the average, the mean, and you're willing to pay an absolute deviation of at most $100. What does that mean? This right here? Well, what that means is you don't mind paying $100 extra than what the average is to get a good computer, and you also don't mind paying $100 less than the average to get a, not a great computer, but get a better deal, right? You want to get a computer that's somewhat in that range. You don't want to be like, you're not Bill Gates here. You're not going to be buying like a super mega computer that costs thousands and thousands of dollars. You just want to buy a typical, regular old computer, okay? So what we need to do is get the mean of these things, and if you can remember what mean means, I like you to think of me adding up your grades. Think of me clicking and averaging your grades, right? Mean, right? That's what you got to imagine. So mean means add up all the numbers and divide by the number of numbers. That's average. So take a second and try to find the mean of these numbers. You can use a calculator if needed. So pause and try to find the mean quick. I think this is a skill you should have. Okay, so I'm going to use a calculator to add up these numbers. And what I got is 890 plus 650. And that's going to come out to that. And plus 660. And then that's going to come out to that. And then I'm going to add 450. And then I'm going to add 725. Sorry to do this on the video. Make it so long. Add 750. This is a lot of mistakes can happen here, so we want to make sure we're good. Add 370. I'm just adding them all up. That's all I'm doing. Add 670. I have trouble with that, I guess. Add 650. And then I'm going to add 825. Okay. 14040. Ah, dear. Okay, what did you get?
I got 6,190.
Oh, what did you get?
6640.
Okay, I'm going to go ahead and talk 6640 because I'm hearing my class tell me that this is the right answer. So apparently I clicked the wrong number on the calculator. Go ahead and rewind and see what I did wrong if you like. And I'm going to divide that by the number of computers, which luckily is 10. Thank goodness it's 10. So if I divide by 10, I have 664 is the average computer price. Now, I don't want my price to go too much above that or too much below that. So my price is X, right? Makes sense? I think. And we want it to be pretty close to 664. So let's think about how we can write an equation for this. Okay, so here's what I want to do. I want to take the difference of my computer's cost and the average computer cost. That's the difference of it, right? Which is right here. X minus 664. That's going to be the average computer subtracted from my computer. And that gives us the difference in the cost. So maybe I paid a little extra, maybe I paid a little less, right? And I want that difference to be less than or equal to 100. I don't want to pay way more or way less. And this should come out to basically, I'm hoping, it will come out to a computer that is either, I don't know, maybe 764 or maybe a computer that's 564. So let's just see if that's how it works. Let's just try to solve that and see if we've got anything. Are we on to something? So I'm going to do everything that I would normally do. Okay. Okay. So now what I do is if I have that left one, I have X is less than or equal to 7 64. That's what this comes out to. And then for this guy, I have x is greater than or equal to, and I think that's going to come out to 564. So basically, I want my computer to be either greater than 564 or 60. This should be a 4, right? Okay. So either I want my computer to be less than $764 or more than $564. Okay, now that we've done the problem and you paid attention, I want to let you know that this problem is pretty challenging, and these types of problems, you're not going to see a lot of them. You might even see them as only a bonus. So don't get too lost in the details of these word problems. I do want you to see it. I do want you to have some exposure to it, but I don't want you to obsess over these types, okay? So we've got to stop the video there. We are at our time limit. I hope it was helpful to you, and I will see you in the next video. Peace.